Hi everyone and welcome to our very first podcast. I'm Nazneen and I'll be starting today's episode before handing things over to Tyra who will be covering the rest. As you can probably tell by the title, today's episode is all about organizational behavior in the workplace. We've structured it in a way that both Tyra and I will be covering key questions on this topic so you get the chance to hear from both of us. At the end of this episode, we hope you'll have a clearer understanding as to why organizational behavior plays such an important role and why it's vital to have knowledge on it. Before I begin, I would like to address the 4 key questions that will be covered. Question 1.1. What organizational behavior is and why it matters in a company. 1.2. How motivation theories influence job attitudes and behavior. Question 1.3. The influence of perception on individual decision-making and judgment within the workplace. And question 1.4, the importance and effect of linking individuals in the workplace, person-job fit, and person-organization fit. Now we can get into the episode. Starting with question 1.1, what is organizational behavior and why it matters in a company? Organizational behavior refers to the study and understanding of human behavior in the workplace. It looks at aspects such as individuals, groups, and the organizational structure that impact behavior within the workplace. Let's look at the 3 aspects that I have just mentioned. Number 1, individual behavior. Refers to understanding different behaviors, attitudes, emotions, and motivations of employees. Individual behavior is influenced by beliefs, values, culture, perception, and personality. For example, as a manager, understanding employee behavior means that the manager can change their leadership style that is used in order to improve performance and productivity. Number 2, group behavior. It is very rare that employees work individually in a workplace, but rather as part of a group. As a manager, it is important to understand how groups form, communicate, make decisions, and solve problems, as this creates a coordinated work environment. Number 3, organizational structure. The way in which an organization is structured affects behavior and overall work performance. Having an organization that is not structured means that performance will decrease, employee satisfaction will decrease, and quality of work will decrease. It is encouraged to have a well-organized structure to avoid these aspects that affect the organization. Having knowledge and understanding of organizational behavior will matter to a company for the following reasons. Number 1, resolving conflicts. Organizational behavior allows the manager to have insight into how conflicts can be resolved in a way that creates a healthy exchange of strategies which prevents conflict from escalating. Communication, which is a key point of organizational behavior, ensures that there aren't any misunderstandings and that all employees' efforts are maximized. Number 2, adopting technological advancements. Due to technology rapidly changing, understanding how these changes may affect employee behavior and attitudes is important for allowing smoother transitions. Managers support their employees by embracing new technological changes and processes. Number 3, increasing innovation and creativity. Organizational behavior allows managers to create a culture for employees that encourages out-of-the-box thinking. As we know, a business that is constantly changing requires this kind of thinking in order to maintain a competitive advantage. Number 4, enhancing employee engagement. Managers need to stay engaged with employees in order to understand what motivates them, what their skills are, and what their aspirations are. Engaging with employees means that they will feel motivated and committed and will not feel the need to leave the organization. Moving on to question 1.2. How motivation theories influence job attitudes and behavior. Motivation theories influence job attitudes and behavior as they identify the factors that motivate people. They examine what influences people to work towards a certain goal or objective, which is essential for businesses. This includes the satisfaction of needs for development, remuneration, and acknowledgement. Knowing what motivates your employees is crucial in the process of keeping them motivated. The motivation theory centers around 2 main factors, which are intrinsic factors and extrinsic factors. Intrinsic factors refer to the idea that individuals are influenced and motivated by the aspiration to fulfill human needs. For example, achieving a personal goal or objective. Extrinsic factors, however, refer to the fact that people are influenced by factors that aren't internal but rather external. For example, a bonus as a reward for the hard work that they have done. There are three top motivation theories that are commonly used in workplaces, namely Herzberg's two-factor theory of motivation, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and lastly, Taylor's motivational theory. Herzberg's two-factor theory of motivation. This theory, also referred to as Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory, suggests that job fulfillment and dissatisfaction occur in two alternative manners, and each has its own aspects. This challenges the normal viewpoint on job fulfillment, as it states that job fulfillment and dissatisfaction are interrelated. The two main factors of Herzberg are the hygiene factors and the motivation factors. Hygiene factors include aspects such as salary, conditions, policies, relationships, and supervision. Motivation factors include interest, achievement, advancement, and responsibility. Hygiene factors, also known as dissatisfiers, prevent people from being unhappy. However, they don't promote fulfillment or satisfaction. Essentially, they prevent dissatisfaction. This is essential for businesses. As mentioned before, examples include salaries, conditions, policies, relationships, and supervision. Additional examples could include job security and status. When hygiene factors aren't enforced properly, workers become dissatisfied. If these factors are improved or enhanced, dissatisfaction is reduced. Motivation factors, also referred to as satisfiers, lead to job fulfillment when they are present. They relate to the context of work and personal growth. Examples include the work itself, advancement, achievement, responsibility, etc. When they are present, workers feel motivated. When they aren't present, dissatisfaction doesn't necessarily occur. However, motivation and satisfaction are reduced. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. A psychologist named Abraham Maslow published the hierarchy of needs in 1943 in a theory of human motivation. This theory centers around 5 fundamental divisions regarding human needs, namely self-actualization, esteem, love and belonging, safety needs, and psychological needs. Self-actualization refers to an individual's ability to achieve their full potential. Esteem refers to aspects such as status, recognition, and respect. Love and belonging refers to family and friends, as well as a feeling of belonging and unity. Safety needs refers to personal protection and security, employment, health, and property. And psychological needs refers to necessities such as food, water, sleep, and shelter. All of this can be identified within a pyramid in the same order, starting from the bottom. Individuals usually try to accomplish their basic needs first, which form part of the bottom of the pyramid. Taylor's motivation theory. Taylor's motivation theory was created in 1909 by Frederick Winslow Taylor. It contained the belief that improving the manner in which people work more productive and effective than simply making work as hard as they could. Taylor developed 4 principles of scientific management as a result of his workplace observations. First, workers should educate themselves regarding working practices, as this is the most effective manner to execute tasks. Second, jobs should be assigned to workers based on their motivation and ability, and they should be allowed to receive training to help them work effectively. Third, employees' work should be regularly monitored, and they should receive guidance to ensure that they work more effectively. Lastly, assignments should be divided among workers as well as managers so that managers can spend time training workers to ensure they perform tasks properly. To implement this theory, you can simply start by breaking down larger tasks into smaller subtasks and continue from there. I would now like to hand things over to Tyra, who will be covering the rest of the key questions in this episode.
Alright, so let's move on to the third key question we're looking at today. The influence of perception on individual decision making and judgment within the workplace. Perception is basically the lens through which we view situations, people, and certain events. However, it doesn't always reflect reality accurately. It's influenced by our unique experiences, cultural backgrounds, attitudes, and even our mood on any given day. No two people see the world through the same lens, which means no two persons make the same decisions at work. Here's a small example. Say a manager perceives an employee's quietness as lack of interest, while another may see it as thoughtfulness. These differences in perception can shape different ways of judgment and can even impact teamwork. Perception plays a pivotal role in decision making. Managers evaluate employees for hiring, promotions, or performance reviews. If a manager holds biases or falls prey to the halo effect, where one positive trait overshadows everything else, they may unknowingly favor one employee over another. This can lead to unfair decisions, harming trust and the overall performance of the organization. Perception significantly influences decision making in the workplace in several ways. Interpretation of events. Employees and managers interpret situations based on their perceptions, which are shaped by personal experiences, bias, and cultural backgrounds. This can lead to different conclusions about the same event. Conflict and morale. Misinterpretation driven by perception can lead to conflict among team members. If employees perceive unfair treatment or bias in decision making, it can lower morale and trust, impacting collaboration and productivity. Biases and stereotypes. Decision makers may rely on stereotypes or preconceived notions, which can lead to biased decisions. For instance, if a manager holds a stereotype about a particular demographic, it may affect their hiring or promotion choices unfairly. Feedback and communication. How feedback is perceived can influence employee motivation and performance. Constructive criticism might be taken poorly if not communicated effectively, leading to resentment or disengagement. Organizational culture. The shared perception within an organization can shape its culture, influencing decision-making processes. A culture that values openness and feedback can foster better decision-making as employees feel comfortable sharing their views. Personality plays a great role in perception, like the Big 5 personality traits. Openness to experience. Highly open employees will prefer to view change as an opportunity for personal development and will be more creative decision makers. Less open employees may oppose change and perceive it as disruptive. Conscientiousness. Conscientious individuals high in conscientiousness tend to view the challenge of the workplace as tasks to be performed well. This then leads to careful planned decisions. Alternatively, those low in conscientiousness tend to miss out on details, with the result being quicker or poorer judgment. Extroversion. Extroverted employees may enjoy team discussions and meetings, reading social cues positively and making relationship-oriented, quicker decisions. Introverted employees may find the same environment too stimulating and would rather make decisions on their own and carefully. Agreeableness. Very agreeable staff are likely to be more positive about interactions and avoid conflict, which foster cooperation but may limit critical thinking at the decision-making stage. Low agreeableness staff might be more cynical about interactions, leading to forceful or adversarial judgment. Neuroticism. High neurotic employees perceive neutral events as threatening or stressful, resulting in defensive or risk-averse decisions. In contrast, emotionally stable employees make less panicky and more rational decisions when under pressure. However, if both employees and leaders recognize how perception impacts judgment, they can take steps to mitigate bias. This is why being aware of perception in the workplace is such a big deal. It helps us take a step back and see angles from a different perspective before making big decisions. By doing that, we can create a more fair and balanced workplace. And this links us perfectly with our fourth and last key concept. the importance and effect of linking individuals in the workplace through person-job fit and person-organization fit. So what do we mean by that? Well, person-job fit is all about making sure that an employee's skills, knowledge and abilities match the requirement of the role. When this alignment is strong, employees tend to be more competent, energized and satisfied in their position. For instance, someone who thrives on interacting with people and excels in communication is likely to flourish in a customer service role. Conversely, if that same person is stuck in a solitary job focused on data entry, they might feel unchallenged and disengaged. A person-organization fit focuses on whether a person values, beliefs, and personality match the broader culture and aims of the organization. For instance, an organization that values innovation and collaboration will see an employee with similar values excel, while someone who prefers strict hierarchy might struggle. When both types of fit are high, the employee is more satisfied and he or she is more likely to be committed and loyal to the organization. Research shows that employees who feel they fit well are more committed, experiences less stress, and are less likely to leave. It generates the sense of belonging, and subsequently it's a win-win situation for both the employee and the organization. However, when a person-job fit or person-organization fit is low, it can cause a large disengagement, frustration, and perhaps even a high turnover for the company. Companies are becoming more intentional about this. Many are using personality assessments, cultural fit interviews, and job previews to ensure they're not just filling a vacancy but finding someone who will thrive within their culture. It's all about fostering long-term success. To sum it up, perception affects how individuals interpret their surroundings and make decisions, influencing fairness in the workplace. Coupled with this, ensuring the right people are matched to the right job and organizational culture through person-job and person-organization fit. It's crucial for achieving motivation, satisfaction, and sustainable performance. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. Thank you for listening, and hopefully this conversation has provided you a better insight on these concepts and how detrimental they can be for an organization and their employees, and how they fit into day-to-day working conditions. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you in the next one.